Hello there YouTube, it's your boy B.3 back with another kicking graphic novel review. Today we're looking at the B.P.R.D. Omnibus, Volume 2, from the HELLBOY universe, aka the MIGNOLAVERSE, and Dark Horse Comics. Let's do something I typically never do before reading a book, read the back of it. In 2001, HELLBOY quit the B.P.R.D., leaving its roster of special agents to defend the world from any occult threats and the growing menace of the Frog Army, which you might remember from HELLBOY Omnibus Volume 1. Now, their adventures are collected in one continuous saga following the exploits of Abe Sapien, Liz Sherman, Roger the Homunculus, Johann Kraus, Kate Corrigan, Ashley Strode, and many more, from the Plague of Throgs through the end of Ragnarok. Join HELLBOY creator Mike Mignola and a slew of talented writers and artists as they bring you the main collection of B.P.R.D. stories in a series of 10 volumes. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a big, huge story. But the main thing we have here is the continuation of their war against the frogs. Like, we see them fight this giant prehistoric monster skeleton that was, like, felled by a shaman. And Liz just kind of incinerates it. And we're kind of getting into the era of Liz just incinerating everything, which does eventually get old. But they do put a stop to it down the line, trust me. But yeah, the frogs can now disguise themselves as humans, and they're going throughout the country, turning tons of people, you guessed it, into more frogs. Abe Sapien doesn't really want to do field work anymore, because now that he's finding out about his origin, he's like all traumatized. He's like, I used to be this guy, I used to be married, I don't have any memories of this, blah, 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 blah. But we also have this new guy, who just kind of comes to life. Like, he was in a body bag. His name is Benjamin Daimio, a former Marine captain, former Green Beret, former Special Ops, now working for the B.P.R.D., and he's replaced Kate as Field Mission Commander because she is helping Abe figure stuff out. And Liz isn't, like, super into him, but Roger seems to like him. Roger even eventually starts mimicking him, because Roger likes to mimic people he looks up to, because he's an homunculus, and he kind of does that. It's all stuff. But they get a big new base up in the mountains, which is really cool. Abe Sapien is kind of like haunted by the late wife of the man he used to be, and he eventually has to kind of let her go and stuff. Meanwhile, Johann and friends find this, like, sub-basement in the facility they're in that has all this crazy secret stuff in it. And there's this scientist down there who has been trapped for, like, decades. And he has all these, like, codes and stuff. And, I mean, of course he's a Nazi, right? I mean, this is B.P.R.D., so you know he used to be a Nazi. But there's all these other, like, ghosts of scientists that are, like, trying to help Johann stop this Nazi scientist before he can do horrible things to not only the B.P.R.D. but also the world. He, like, is able to open this gate to heaven and becomes this horrific insectoid with, like, this flaming sword. It's like some kind of freakish angel monster. It's very, very cool. If you want to know his full plan and stuff, you're going to have to read the book. I don't want to spoil too much here, you know. But the captain does find a little creature down there that he seems to have history with in a specimen jar, interestingly enough. But yeah, Johann is able to put spirits to peace and whatnot. And as I said, Abe is able to put the spirit of his, I guess, late wife to rest as well. By the way, most of the art in here is not Mignola. He did more cover art and story work. So that's that. But yeah, the captain, who wasn't super into Roger originally, Roger kind of freaked him out. Now Roger's, like, his favorite. Partially because of the mimicking, I'm sure. But they find out that the frogs are now able to reproduce in a way that's not just turning other people into frogs. They can turn into these big bloated egg sacs, each full of, like, thousands of tadpoles. And of course Liz is able to incinerate lots of them, but some are able to get away, unfortunately. Oh well. Anyway, with Abe absent from the field, Roger is able to take a much more active stance, and he goes back to the manor where Hellboy and Abe fought the original frogs, and he finds those two frogs and puts them down. But the thing is, if they hadn't gone looking for these frogs, they probably never would have hurt anyone again. They were just living in a cave, eating fish, and, mourning the mummified remains of their mother. Their human brains were mostly in control. So yeah, Roger was kind of sad that he had to take them all out. We also see a girl that's able to heal people, but it's all a front. When she heals people, she turns them into frogs, much like the young boy from the previous volume. Yeah, so anyone she heals is infected, becomes a frog, and then they infect the whole town they're in. Luckily, the B.P.R.D is eventually able to take her, and still here it seems that when children are infected and become frogs, they become much bigger, more fearsome, stronger frogs. And we find that there are humans helping the frogs without being turned into frogs. They're just full-on cultists helping them out. And then we have one story that's about all these B.P.R.D agents trapped on a boat, and there's just like one frog on the boat picking them off, and it's very alien. Like if you replace the frog with a xenomorph, it would fit perfectly. And the art even reminds me a lot of old Dark Horse Alien comics. Very interesting. But yeah, unfortunately, no one survives it, but they are able to kill the frog. The last man standing is able to take it out at the cost of his own life. They also find a barn full of frogs that they have to destroy, and then Johann is haunted by the ghosts of these frogs. Normally the frogs don't leave ghosts behind, but these frogs were so recently turned that they still have a lot of human spirit to them, and they don't know how to move on, and Johann has to help them, even though they're frogs. And he flies them away and tries to help them, and this eldritch being opens up a portal, and all these tentacles come to pull them in, and they try to pull in Johann as well, but don't get away with it, which very much leads to Johann reading the Bible, because yeah, that's spooky. Then we get into the Black Flame, who's this big CEO, who's also a secret Nazi, sound familiar, and he has this suit made that makes him like this flame, this torch that can lead the frogs. He's figuring out the frog language, and he becomes kind of this frog messiah. He doesn't get turned into a frog, but he has this super cool outfit with like these dials on it and this burning black flame skull head. I'm a fan of skull heads, especially flaming ones. Ghost Rider, all that shit. It's dope. The flaming skull head is just a dope image. We also see this guy kind of haunting Liz's dreams, kind of trying to help her fight the frogs. Anyway, the Black Flame, after he kind of gets all this frog power, goes on a bit of a rampage trying to bring this eldritch god into their world. And eventually, I hate to say, they are pretty successful. The Black Flame is able to unite all the frogs like across the country and bring them all out and bring this huge eldritch god into Nebraska, where it really wreaks a lot of havoc. But eventually the Black Flame realizes that the frogs are just using him and the power won't be his. They're like, we don't give a shit, Black Flame. You're not going to have the power. You're just going to lead us to it. Our gods are going to have the power. And there was an artifact that Roger found a while back. And Liz is actually able to use that to incinerate the big eldritch god. Once again, Liz incinerates thing that no one else can beat. It does get a little old, I have to say. This time, though, it only worked because she had this special artifact that was able to channel her flame specifically in a specific, almost lightning-esque way. And Black Flame kind of sees the error of his ways, but is dragged down into the earth by remaining frogs. And sadly, Roger, the homunculus, loses his life. He's destroyed. He's nothing but a torso, half an arm, and a neck. But Johann is adamant that they can save him. They just have to find a way to restore homunculus tissue, and Roger's spirit can inhabit his body yet again. Technically, Roger's spirit is still in there. It just, there's not enough of the body for him to manipulate it anymore, unfortunately. Then, of course, we get this big epilogue where Liz is just incinerating a bunch of frogs, and it's a little too easy. Oopsie. Yeah, I mean, Liz incinerating frogs is really cool and stuff, but you gotta either up the ante on the frogs, or you have to do something to Liz to make her less OP. And they kind of do. They kind of very much drain Liz a lot. But then we, of course, have the big sketchbook and everything in the back. I really love the sketchbooks included in these omnibuses, especially the little read-ups that are with them that kind of explain the creative process of it all. It's really good. Mike Mignola, John Arcudi, everyone that worked on this volume from Dark Horse Comics did a great job. I have become a huge fan of the MIGNOLAVERSE. You guys know I love monsters, and I love pulp stuff, and this is really the best of both. It really, really is. And I like that in the comics, the B.P.R.D is like an organization that the public knows, like supernatural stuff, the public just knows about it. In media, I've kind of gotten sick of, yeah, supernatural stuff's all real, and there's a secret organization that takes care of it all. But if supernatural stuff is real and frequent, how could you keep it secret? I love that in the MIGNOLAVERSE, people just know it's real. They might not understand it, but the average Joe is just like, yeah, there's ghosts. There's ghosts, and sometimes we gotta get rid of them. It's fine. But that is it for B.P.R.D. Omnibus Volume 2 from Dark Horse Comics and the MIGNOLAVERSE. Thank you all very much for your support. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I will be seeing you all next time. Bye for now.